Yeah, so Michael Riccobuano, First Choice Realty. Been in real estate for 10 years this year. Licensed as an agent practicing, but I've been doing property management for close to 13 years now. So
Jeez,
getting into it, man.
that's aw and you've been with First Choice for how long?
I've actually been with them my whole career so far. So 10 years since they opened.
Oh, sweet. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if you knew, but the brokerage was originally owned by three other partners. And then Ruth, uh
I got a quick rundown of it, but yeah, let me hear it.
yeah, so, originally, the brokerage was started, with 3 partners. It was Tanya Bridges, Gary Cara, and Gary Sadu. They were both real estate investors. They kinda got me into this business and also the rental industry. And Tanya, I've known for many, many years. And so she was the broker owner, and they were the two partners in the business. And they started the original company. Um, the original office was off Auburn Boulevard in Citrus Heights. And then the brokerage got sold to Ruth, and she's kind of transformed it into what it is today. And I really, really like it. So I stayed on.
Yeah, love it. I love it. Yeah, I had, Ruth on as a guest,
Oh,
she
cool.
just hasn't I haven't aired her interview, so, fun to hear hers. But, she's been amazing, like, honestly, I
Yeah.
was jumping around from brokerage to brokerage, I'm new,
Mhm.
I've only been in 4 years now. But I had been, like, in 4 brokerages in, like, 3 years or something like that. So, like, by the
Yeah,
time I finally landed on Ruth,
I like the
like, I'm home, you
consistency.
know?
Yeah, the consistency here has been great, and, I've been approached by many, many different brokers over the years to switch over to, their business, but it just didn't make sense to me, and I really thought that it more instead of a name, it was building a name for yourself, and, instead of using a big broker's name to try to make something for yourself, just work hard and kinda get those referrals and off of your name. So build something for yourself. So that's what I've been doing.
I like that. Yeah, it's because it's your business. I mean, really, like, you're just hanging your license,
Right.
with the
It's
brokerage, but
what you
you're
make
you're
of it.
doing it all.
Yeah, and I didn't
Yeah,
wanna,
totally.
hand my paycheck away to other, people, so I figured it's really nice to hold most of that, and, yeah, they're really fair with the splits and everything, so it's good.
Yeah, I love, like yeah, I finally, I mean, it was, like, when I started at KW on Folsom, it was, like, satellite or I don't even know what they call it. One of the, like, little brokerages or teams
Like
within inside the
right.
brokerage, and it was like a 50-50 split, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
they claimed they gave us leads and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of that gets your commission gets eaten up with that stuff, and they do, try to train you a lot and give you a lot of information, but, it's at a cost. So and I think just what you get with Ruth is awesome. So she's actually a really
She's hard.
good friend of mine. We built a good relationship, and I really enjoy working with her. So I can call her at any time if I need a question or help, and she's always there to help me out. So I really appreciate it. It's awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, she's 100% why I came to the brokerage is hers, like, 'cause I needed that coaching, that help, that hands-on, and she was right there, and, like, she's to the point where, like, she'll give you the help that you need when you ask, but she's not, like, overbearing or, like, trying to, like, push, her brokerage or, anything like that, and so
Right. Yeah.
she's really just trying to see us grow, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Totally. That's why I continue to be loyal to her, and I'll probably be here for a long, long time. So.
Totally. I see myself and it's, like, the whole family atmosphere and stuff too, it's
Yeah,
like,
we're all
you
friends. We're not,
there
we're trying to help each other out. When we have listings, we can um, talk amongst each other and advertise all our stuff to one another, and maybe even try to do deals together. So that's what it's all about is um, helping each other in this business because that's what real estate's about. We're not trying to fight one another for deals. We're trying to work together and make everybody happy. So that's how you become
Good
successful, I
point.
guess. So
Because good point. Because you can't do it alone. I mean, you need that support. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there eventually can do it all alone, but like, having that, you're already going up against it, like cutthroat world and
right.
whole industry. So to have that inside your own brokerage too must be, I mean, it's like got to be so much harder and to be able
Yeah,
to
I
have
mean,
that not brokerages.
yeah, if you don't have that comfort level within your own team, I mean, that's not where you wanna be, so
You have quite a bit of experience. You said 10 years. That's amazing. So, um, shoot, any at the top of your head, any crazy stories that you can think of, or like when you started out, what like your first deal was that
um,
like a shit show or
no,
something, or
honestly, it went really well. The my very first deal was one of my best friends, was living in her grandparents' house who had passed, and her parents inherited the property, and essentially she was renting it from them, and they were doing, renovations to the home as she lived in it. And, when they were ready to list it, they gave me that opportunity knowing that it was my first deal and, they trusted me and it actually went really smoothly. The house was in super good condition. It was a cute little house in North Highlands. I think it was maybe 180 grand. I don't know. It was cheap. But, no, I sold it really easy quickly. The deal went smooth and I just kinda kept rolling from there, but, yeah, getting having friends and family get you in and kinda give you that trust initially and get your foot in the door and get your feet wet, I mean, that's huge, and so I owe a lot to, my friends and my family because there's the ones who my business has really stayed afloat over these years because the market's kinda gone up and down since I've started. I started in 2013. Things were a little tough back then, and then it kinda went up and then down, and you know how it is. So, yeah.
yeah, you came in right after the crash, so people were
Right.
just trying to kind of climb out of that and recover from that. So you were
Yeah.
probably dealing with a lot of people just mistrust and not even wanting to like talk to you. I bet.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I mean, I was doing a ton of open houses. I was, working at the office, taking cold calls. I mean, back in when you would sit at the office and you would hope for phone calls from your listings, in the office and just following up every lead you could and getting your name out there. I mean, it was just a lot of work for no pay for a while, but, I just kinda stuck with it, man, and, luckily, I had, fairly reasonable expenses at the time. I bought my first house in '09, so my mortgage payment was very reasonable, and I was able to kinda work my way through it even when it was slow and tough, so that made it work for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know how you did it. That's you know, I I'm always curious how people got started because like especially people because like the turnover rate for real estate agents, the failure rate is amazing. It's like 90 almost 90% after a couple years or something like that. And so for you to be able to be so successful in this industry, you're obviously been doing something correctly for a very long time. So I'm very curious. Is I mean, do you have any like systems or like
So,
anything that you
basically
find that has really been that?
yeah, so basically what kept me afloat when I wasn't selling homes was the property management, and that's what, I started with originally, and, I first got my start with that, looking at foreclosures with the 2 original partners of First Choice Realty, so, they gave me an opportunity, when the foreclosures were high to go and scout homes, so they would give me a list every night and they'd say, "Hey, these houses are coming at these times on the auction block at the court steps." So they'd have one guy at the court steps every morning with a bunch of cashier's checks in hand, ready to go, and then they'd have
Yeah.
another guy would be on the computer doing all the numbers and calculations, and I would be out in the field, and I would get my little Garmin GPS and put all the addresses in a row, and I'd go from one to the next, and I'm talking I would be, from, you know, North Sacramento, South Sacramento, Rancho I'd go all the way around Sacramento County in maybe 6 hours, and so I would just pop up at these houses and, take a picture, give them the general information, what kind of roof, windows, it's got dry rot, is there a tenant, all the information that you would wanna know from visually looking at the property, and then they would come up with a figure that made sense, and if they wanted to bid on it, they'd bid on it, and that's really when I started because they gave me once they started purchasing homes, they wanted to rent them. That was their long-term, goal was to build a portfolio of rentals that would give them the cash flow every month to sustain their bills and kind of retire from. So once they started building up some properties, they said, "Hey, we want you to start renting them." And I had no clue what I was doing. I'm 20.
Really?
Oh, no idea. I mean, I'm 20. I think I was about 25. I'm 38.
Okay.
I'm 38
Okay.
now, so I was like a 25-year-old
Okay.
kid, I was pretty smart, but
Yeah.
I didn't know what, "Oh, yeah, you just
Sure. Super green.
take some pictures of a house, put it on." And this is back in the Craigslist days, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Zillow
this
and
is like
oh,
pre-technology,
dude,
like,
there was no
before we had
Zillow,
all
there was
this, like
no,
yeah.
all these nice platforms, you truly all these platforms that you can do nice listings on and do rental, listing, there none of that existed yet. So, I was literally doing, like, Craigslist ads for
Goodness.
rentals, and I was getting tons of scammers and, oh, it was terrible, and just, people flaking on you all the time. There was oh, man, it was tough. I
Dude,
started with really low end.
I could imagine.
Yeah, really low end rentals. I mean, I could remember renting these like half plex units, McEwens, yeah, the fourplexes that they have. They're called
Yes.
McEwens. Yeah,
Yes.
I would rent
Is that what they're
those are
called?
yeah, they're called McEwens. That was the builder of those fourplexes, and so I was renting those out for like $600 a month. If you can imagine rent ever being $600 a month. And, people were still defaulting on their rent at $600 a month.
Mm. Oh,
So,
this is probably, like, in, like, South Sac or, like, North Hollywood
yeah,
area,
this was
huh?
like, no, not South Sac, but like North Sacramento, Elkhorn, Garfield. There
Yes,
was some in
yes.
South Sac, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was like, yeah, the cheaper, lower end type of, rental market,
Mhm.
but, everybody has to live somewhere, right? So,
Oh, absolutely. Me
uh
I lived in one of those exact same ones on and off of, like, Elkhorn Boulevard with my mom back in the day. It
Yeah,
was
and
so hood, but,
some of them
you
are
know
really nice. My wife actually used to live in one over in Citrus Heights, and it was a really nice, area, and hers was in really good condition. So it just really depends, like, where it's at, but, um, yeah, I kinda started with those, and I was getting a monthly, fee for each property. So at one point, they had amassed, like, 50 rental homes, and I was in charge of managing all these proper I was
50?
overwhelmed. Yeah, I was 20 something years old with, I got getting phone calls every
Just
day,
you.
just me. It was a little overwhelming, so, but that kept me afloat when I wasn't doing deals, so I was at least getting that kind of flat rate income every month.
Consistent.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
sustaining my life in between selling real estate, so when I did get a sale, it was like a big bonus for me, and it really, yeah, it was helpful, but yeah, I just really just sticking with it through the hard experiences and kinda, like, learning from those experiences. Most people, you have to I would say, like, real estate, you always have to have a couple, other means of income going on, because when things aren't always good, and you're not making sales, it's, you have to have some other revenue stream. So that's really what, kept me going. And, just making people happy, seeing people succeed, that was kind of the motivation for me. Seeing my friends and family get new homes and stuff, so kept me going.
That's pretty cool. Especially your first deal. Your first deal was a little
Yeah.
or a little bit more rare because usually, you start with a buyer because it's a little bit easier. So that's pretty cool. Got you jumped right into that, huh?
Yeah, that was nice, man, and actually, lately, I've been doing mostly listings, and that's what I'm hoping to, mainly do. A lot of agents wanna be listing agents because it's more focused on, your time is more focused on that, but,
You can scale more.
yeah, so that's what I've been focusing my energy on, is getting listings, and, but it's taken me 10 years to get there. So it's not an overnight process, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of young people, they get into real estate seeing the big checks and they go, "Hey, I can make a bunch of money." And yeah, you can make a bunch of money, but you're definitely gonna have to work for it. It's not gonna just be handed to you. So I think that's why there's such a turnover rate. And then they're not making any other income other than sales, and you have to drop out and get a, 9 to 5. So that's the nature of
Yeah.
the beast.
And like it doesn't help that like everybody, TV, the media is just glorifying it, all this selling sunset BS, all this stuff. They make it look like, hey, just sit around, it'll come to you. Like it's a sales job. We're salesmen, so we have to go out and get
Right.
the, actually do sales. You can't expect people to just come to you. I mean, if you have a great sphere of influence, like, a lot of people that like that definitely helps, I'm sure. But I don't see how people could rely on that only, so
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of third party, um, competition as well, like Open Door and Redfin, and you got all these companies that are lowballing sellers on, transactions. So, "Hey, we'll buy your house cash. You only have to pay us this much, fees." And, so you not only have, competition with other agents, but now you have these big corporations that are, fighting for money too. So it's tough, man. It's not an easy business. You really gotta root yourself into it and build your network of, you know, people to keep you going. Because referrals, man, that's how I've survived, man. So,
everybody I keep talking to, the people that the agents that I've had on the show that, are successful, been in, 10 plus years. It's all about those referrals, but, like you said, it doesn't happen overnight and you gotta build that. So you gotta like go out there and get it and do the work that you're putting in, like you're talking about. But having that second, um, or something else to rely on, it's also great in my mind mentally because like I work for the state also, and I couldn't imagine only relying on real estate
oh
because I
yeah,
would be a totally different real estate agent. I would be like, so it'd be so obvious, like I'd be commission desperate, like just
right.
stressed. And
Yeah, you're
I
just
would hate it.
fighting.
I would hate it. I'd be that 90% or whatever that drops out super quick,
Yeah, if you're just living paycheck to paycheck and all you care about is getting a paycheck, you're not gonna do justice to your clients. It's not gonna be an ideal situation because when I go into a deal, I treat everybody like I'm selling my mom's house for my mom, and that's how you should look at it. It's your family. You're doing the best job you could possibly do, and you're trying to impress everybody with how hard you work, and that's how you build that reputation. So it's like when you're just looking for a paycheck, then real estate doesn't become fun anymore, and then your attitude changes, and it just doesn't work.
It's crazy, different world.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess not. It hasn't even really been a transition. been kind of intermixed with this first question. How did you transition from property management to being a realtor? But you started basically hand in hand with it, as it sounds like. But how has your experience in property management influenced your approach to real estate? Want to add a little bit to it?
Yeah, totally. So, what I would say is my experience from property management has been this. When somebody comes into a home to rent it, they are almost just as much or more scrutinizing of the condition of the home, what features it has, the amenities, all that, because they're looking at it from the standpoint as, "Hey, I'm here paying rent. I'm paying somebody else's mortgage. This needs to be everything I want and more." So what that's done to my mindset is I know how particular people are, so I can make the product that I'm selling, so a listing, before I list it, I can scrutinize it just like if a renter was coming through, and I kinda nitpick all the points that I know people are they're gonna pick out, you know? So, even if it's just small little items, little touch-ups, uh
Kind of see it.
yeah, I can kind of already like, "Hey, this is gonna be an issue. This is gonna be an issue. People are gonna ask why this is here," you know, um, just little things like that that people are gonna point out or have questions about. In property management, you get that times 10 because people are very particular about, you know, paying money to somebody else that they want it to be perfect. So I just transitioned that over to sales and it works because I'm already prepared for how people are going to look at things. So
Do you actually have a company, a separate company
I
for property
used
management?
I did we did have a company. It
Okay.
was called Clearview Management. It was a limited partnership between me and the two other gentlemen who started the, First Choice Realty brokerage at first, but we did, dissolve that just because they, started their own separate entities and kinda, they started a few different entities, LLCs, they did, corporations, and they had such big portfolios, they kinda had to space them out to different companies so they didn't have all their eggs in one basket. So we dissolved that, and now I've just been kind of, working with one guy and doing his, helping him out with rentals here and there, but I actually haven't done a lot of, um, rentals properties right now because, there's really not a lot of deals on the market. It's really hard to get a property that will turn a profit right now. Even when you find fixer uppers, once you put the money into it, there's no profit to be made. So from an investment standpoint, it doesn't make
No
sense.
movement right now?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
unless you're starting in the business and you're trying to just build up, some properties and have some in your pocket, you're probably not gonna
Uh-huh.
make any money on them. 'Em. You'll be breaking even, and yes, somebody will be, paying your mortgage for you and kinda chipping away at that principal, but, there was a
Sure.
time where you could get properties for much less than what the mortgage was on it, and you can make a substantial monthly, um, income, but that those days are kind of limited, unless you bought your re
At the moment, do you feel like sorry, go ahead.
No, no, you're good.
Oh, do you feel like that's just right now? Or do you think, like, maybe it'll come back? Like, is the same, like, with the market? Does it kinda just go up
I
and
don't
down?
think in the
Same
state of
thing with the
I think in the state of California, it's gonna be hard for that to come back. Just because I don't see the prices of homes ever dipping to a level of where a mortgage will be cheaper than it is to rent. I think the new
Mhm.
strategy, and from what I've seen from the people I work with in the business, is that they're building new homes. And that's been the way that they're gonna make income with rental properties. Or they're taking current properties that have room or space on the lot to build an ADU. So that's really where the money's
You.
coming from. Yes, that's where the money's gonna come from, um, is buying land for cheap, building multi-units on it, or taking existing property you have and either splitting the lot or building an ADU, and that's something that I've seen, the particular gentleman I work with do over the last 5 or 6 years. He's done that at a few different properties that he has. So, um, and that's where he's making money because it's almost cheaper. It's honestly it's cheaper to build a new house than it is to buy a used home. If that, th makes
Mhm.
sense to anybody. It doesn't it's crazy to think that, but it is. It's cheaper to build, and he has, you have to have the experience to go through the permitting process and all that stuff. I mean, that's not, an
Well,
easy
yeah.
thing.
Right, right.
But
But as far
once you do it a few times, it's kinda second nature, so
that's what I was about to say, basically, if you're in the industry, like, what you're saying is, like, you know what you're doing, and obviously, it's cheaper to buy a brand new plus, like, as a buyer, like, to get into a house, like a new house, it's easier than to get a loan for a mortgage because you can just go and pay, like, a deposit, can't you, to the builder, and then, get in, like, you know, through their financing instead of going to, like, getting financed through, sorry, a
like a
bank?
yeah, yeah, actually, I just went through this process with somebody, yeah, so they have their in-home lenders that work with the builder, and they usually offer incentives. So maybe they'll give you a closing cost credit, or they can offer you a lower rate, or something along those lines to get you in. And then, you're not, once you get your foot in the door, you sign the contract, you're just kind of waiting, which is nice because you don't have all this competition. And honestly, there's some pretty good deals with these new homes. These builders want to get these houses sold, and they have a lot of inventory that, I mean, the cheaper homes sell pretty quickly, but there's a lot of, new home inventory coming, and they're still building a lot of homes. I'm out here in Lincoln, and they just started a whole new development right where I live off Ferrari Ranch, and, yeah, they're building the homes as fast as they can get them up. So, I mean, that's a good thing for buyers because there's gonna be the inventory situation is what's tough. So, hopefully that will alleviate some of that.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's the only bad part as far as being, like, more towards the city of Sacramento. You have to if you're gonna buy new, you have to go more towards Elk Grove, Roseville,
Yeah, there's
Folsom,
no
like,
land to
towards the
build
outer
on.
parts. Yeah, 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 unless you find, like, a single lot that, you're gonna build one house on, but you're not gonna find a builder that's gonna do that for you.
Right,
So,
exactly. Yeah, and they have loans, they have construction loans, um, and people use those all the time. It's just a matter of, getting qualified for that type of loan. But yeah, they have construction loans, and if you think outside the box and you find a lot that you can get at a good price, then I mean, you know, you might want to explore that avenue just because how things are going. But I would say the next best thing for making money on rental properties is building ADUs because Sacramento has become so lenient on that. They're almost advocating that people do that now because the housing shortage. So if you have a property in Sacramento County that has space to do it, I mean, look into it because rent rent's going pretty crazy right now. So if you can make it make sense, look into building ADUs. That's where the money's at, I'm telling you. Or even like a nice
definitely. Oh,
a duplex, a duplex. That's what I would recommend to a first time buyer if possible.
mhm.
Duplexes are still pretty expensive, but there are some that come up for a reasonable amount of money. Man, if I could do it all over again, I would, and I had the income at the time,
Absolutely.
I would have bought a duplex. I would have lived in the one side and rented the other side out. I mean, that's an ideal situation, but not everybody wants to do that, and I understand, but, man, been a huge setup for me, but, yeah, duplexes have
Great starting point.
yeah, totally. The main money makers that over the years when I've been doing the rentals were the duplexes because
Mhm.
the cost is gonna be higher than a single family home, but then you have 2 income sources coming, so you end up making a little bit more, money at the end of the day. You're netting more out of the 2 sides versus 1, so, yeah, I wish people would.
Bigger profit margin.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, absolutely. I've talked about that with someone else before too. I wish I would have been able to do that. That would have been super cool, but
Yeah,
didn't know anything. I didn't even like
I didn't have the budget back then. I think my very first house was $169,000, and that was, like, a lot of money for me back then, so I was like in spec the perspective of now, it's like nothing, but, yeah, back then it was a lot.
still.
Yeah. I think duplexes at the
And
time
you were
were
single.
I was a single guy. I actually was, a union worker, um and had
Mm,
been in the trades for a couple years, was doing okay at the time and, had good credit, had a little bit of money to put down, and I figured, "Oh, house prices are down." At the time, Obama was president and he had the, tax incentive, so "Hey, if you buy a house, I'll give you $8,000 tax credit." And for me, I was like, "Cha-ching, let's do it," So I bought a house in, I think it was July of 2009 when I bought my house, and man, was that just the
man,
best thing I ever did.
right after the crash, huh?
Yeah, it was I mean,
Right.
yeah, it was, like, in the middle of it. So, basically, it was a short sale, and the current owner had purchased the house for, I believe, 350, 360. And, yeah, I got it for 169, man. It was a nice little house. It was
Man,
built in the mid-90s. Yeah, nice little platform. It needed some upgrades, but it was in really good condition and kinda made it my own I owned it for about 8 years, and over that time, I kinda, remodeled it slowly, and that's what I suggest everybody do. Like, your first house is not always gonna be your dream house, right? And the main thing I kinda preach to, like, buyers or first time buyers is, "Look, you can make a house pretty, it can be ugly, but you can't put it in a nice neighborhood, and you can't, you know, change the structural integrity without spending tons of money. So find a house that has good bones. It might be ugly inside, but make it pretty and make that your mission to, like, make it your own, and as you're doing that, it's very rewarding and you're building equity. So that's the fun thing for me. I've done 3 houses over my, lifetime and updated 3 houses, and it's fun to kinda, do that every time, and it's a slow
make it
pro
your own.
Yeah, it's totally fun. I mean, I love seeing, like, a makeover. I'm all about that. I'm totally the guy that likes seeing
Dude,
something go from rags to riches, so it's really fun, and, and you don't always have to spend a ton of money. They have a lot of products nowadays that look very fancy, but you can get at a reasonable cost. So, and I've done one flip house I did in 2021 with me and another partner, and I was very much involved with sourcing materials and keeping us on budget. And you'd be surprised how nice you can make a house look for I mean, it's definitely expensive, but you can make it look like you spent a lot more than you did. And there's a lot of options out there nowadays. So Amazon has been
totally.
great. Amazon's been great. They have a lot of house products that you can get.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can get them quick too. If you got a Prime account, couple days, man,
Yeah, exactly.
get them shipped right
Yeah.
now. So
Amazon's got everything. I mean, honestly,
I know they're
anything you
taking
think
over.
of, Amazon.
They're taking over the world.
But,
I swear,
uh,
man. My 60
everything,
my
it's just
60-year-old dad just found out Amazon, I think this last year, and I swear he orders more.
Discovered it?
Oh, he is all about it. I mean, he's got packages coming yeah, like, at once a week. He's
Oh gosh.
he I know, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
imagine a 60-year-old guy freaking on the computer, like,
Oh,
ordering Amazon
totally. Just,
package.
like, looking stuff up, like,
Oh,
"Ooh,
he
order
loves it.
that." Yeah, just
He's
waiting
like,
for it.
"This is awesome. I don't ever have to leave my house again." You know?
For nothing.
It's funny.
Exactly. Between Amazon and, like, having your groceries brought to you, like, you really don't ever have to leave the house if you had, like, a work from home job too.
Right. I leave the house
But
because
that
I
would be
can't
miserable.
yeah, I can't be stuck inside all the time. That's just not my personality. So I like going to the store and stuff. I do order from Amazon and things like that, but man, yeah, we gotta get out of the house, man. Get some mental sanity
Absolutely.
for sure.
Just yeah, some sunlight, some s the fresh air, all that.
For sure, yeah.
Alright. So, what about any, crazy property management stories you wanna share?
Yeah, I actually,
No big deal.
no, I actually, I put a couple notes down here of some things. Okay, so here's
Nice, perfect.
yeah, yeah. So here's probably the craziest one I got for you. So, we had a rental in Del Paso Heights. Okay, not known for being the nicest neighborhood in Sacramento. Really nice little place. Rented it to a couple, husband and wife. I think they might have had a couple little kids. Everything seemed fine. Um, and then about a few months into it, the husband got in a big fight with the wife and set the house on fire, and literally almost
No way.
oh, yeah, and literally almost burnt the whole house down, and we had to call the fire department, the police, the guy ended up going to jail and getting arrested. Um, yeah, it was a nightmare. I had to work with, like, the fire investigation, the arson investigators to find out, how the fire started and all that. I mean, this place was scorched. I just remember going inside of there and it was just black, and I mean, you could barely even breathe. I mean, it had been burnt a while ago, but it was still, like, hard to breathe going in there of how much soot was everywhere. And so that was probably the craziest thing that I've had. I've had squatters are always a big concern in rental, business, especially depending on the
How do you deal do you have a particular way you deal with them?
Yeah, so basically, it's all about the illusion of making it seem like somebody lives there when they don't. So, and being extra, putting locks on, like, side gates, putting locks on sheds, anything that somebody could get into or is appealing for them to wanna, check out, you just have to really, over fortify those things and, keep lights on, keep blinds closed, um, visit the property often, maybe shift some things around, making them think that people are there, and, so, yeah, it's been tough, though, over the years. I haven't dealt with it too much, in the last, few years. It hasn't really been an issue. I actually just had a listing that people did get into, nothing happened. We found out early, we're able to rekey the house and put some locks on the gates and stuff and didn't have a problem after, but yeah, it's just, making that illusion that people are there and it's occupied while it isn't is really, been helpful, but, and
I
then
was thinking, like, maybe, timers on the lights too?
do it say that again?
Maybe some timers on the lights too? Do you
Oh,
do
yeah,
that too?
yeah, yeah, we've done timers, we've done, like, temporary alarm systems, fake cameras. I mean, real cameras too, but, like,
Yeah, yeah.
those decoy cameras. All that kinda stuff just
Mhm.
deters people from wanting to go in there, and then just maybe talking with the neighbors and building a rapport with the neighbors and just saying, "Hey, look, this is a rental property. If you don't see me there, it's probably not somebody that should be there. So if you see something, please let me know. Here's my card. Here's my information." then I'll come over right away, and so we haven't had any issues, um, in a long, long time, but, yeah, squatting was a huge, like, ordeal over the last,
Mhm.
5, 6 years ago. We
Sure.
had to evict some people that got into the
Oh,
property.
really?
Yeah, oh, yeah, and they started, you know, settling in there like they lived there, and the squatter rights, man, you had to yeah, it was
That's
terrible.
the part. It's a long process, and it's like it costs money for you to do all that too, right?
Yeah, it costs, thousands of dollars, anywhere from 2 to $4,000 to do an eviction, and then you have, time lost with rent not being paid, you have utilities that, you may be responsible for, and, homeowners insurance, and then, just damage.
Whatever damages they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, it used to be an issue. I haven't dealt with it for many years, thank God, but, yeah, man, the squatters are bad. They used to cut off my lock boxes left and right.
Oh, man.
They would just take bolt
The
cutters.
before they were the electronic ones?
I've had them cut off MLS boxes, super boxes.
Jeez.
Yeah, if they
Man.
want to, they're gonna get in, man, and I've found bolt cutters at properties that they left behind, all kinds of stuff that they, were doing, and it's nuts, you know? Kinda scary. It makes you think
That's why, like
twice before going inside, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
I used to
But at the
yell
same
out,
time, it's
"Hey, hey,
go for it.
anybody in there? You in there?" Just kinda make them seem like there's more people with me than there is, and hopefully nobody's in there, and just kinda spook people, and I've had people where they were at the property and they took off, so
Oh, they
it's
did?
oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, there was people at the property before, and I had to kick them out and say, "Hey, you gotta get out of here, let's just." So, it's been
At least they took off. They didn't, like, try to, like, fight you or do something crazy
yeah,
like
I
that, right?
know, it's a little nerve-wracking sometimes, but I haven't had those issues in a long time, but, yeah, those are some of my old school early stories of
Nice.
people busting windows
So, like
out.
yeah, yeah, just shady shit, right?
No, yeah, I had renters that, a lot of, domestic issues between, people living at the
Mhm.
properties, and they were just trashing the place, busting windows, getting the cops called on them. We had to kick people out because they kept, getting the cops called on them. And gosh, man. Yeah, it wasn't an easy, start for me in that business, but you definitely can make money doing it. You just have to have, like, a big portfolio of houses, and you can make some real money, but, would I recommend
Yeah,
people
that leads
getting
me to my next question. Oh, go ahead. Finish
Oh,
that,
I
and then
was
I'll
just
ask you
gonna
a
say,
question.
would I recommend people, getting into property management? You better have thick skin, and that's all I could say. And some e and empathy, you gotta have empathy, but you also have to, be stern and, business-minded. You can't let people walk all over you, and that's a big part of it too, so.
Makes sense. Yeah, you know how like I mentioned that I had, like, 3 brokerages before I landed on first choice. Well, one of the brokerages that I was working for before, I was working with one of these agents that, working for a while, or been an agent for a while, pretty slick guy, just kind of, a little shady. And, he was like he had a bunch of rental properties also that he owns downtown and stuff like that. And so I was always asking about, like, squatters and, how he dealt with stuff like that. Just like, "Oh, I got a guy that'll just go in and with a bat and chase him off." I was
Yeah, I
like,
mean, that's
"Damn,
that
bro, you don't mess
yeah,
around."
I know, that's kinda like the old school way of doing it, and if you have the muscle to get somebody out of there, you can probably get them out of there, but, I mean, it's probably not the best way to go about
Nowadays
it.
nowadays, dude, they're gonna sue you
Yeah,
so
you get
fast,
su
so
yeah, you
fast. I
you
don't even
do
care.
anything to people, they're gonna cry for help, and you're gonna get in trouble for it, so it's not worth it, man,
Especially in California.
oh, yeah, people have a lot more rights with, you know, in being in the wrong than they do. It's kind of crazy to think, but yeah, you can't touch anybody these days, man. You gotta, yeah.
Well, dude, I don't know. I guess I can ask you a quick question. I don't know if you, so I actually started a real estate holding company. I want to actually do
Okay.
like it's kind of crazy how things work out because I had no idea, like talk like uh, so much of property management, but uh, that's what I want to do is like do the long term, full rent them out and do the same, but self manage. But with the twist though is I want to add like AI to it, like, on every aspect, like, find someone that actually knows how to do that stuff and, like, that can, like, find the properties and, like, maybe come up with, like, some system to actually manage the properties and, like, obviously, there's gonna still have to be people involved, but systematize it to be, like,
So
streamline
more
it.
automation and have it kind of run
Yeah,
run
yeah.
itself, which would be great. I mean, if there was I think that's an excellent idea because if you could have some type of platform to where, say, your tenant, um, rather than texting you at 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday, can go onto an app or something and say, "Hey, I need to schedule a repair," or whatever question they have, and you could, reply to them, through that. It would be so much more helpful, and then you could keep track because it's really important to keep track of all the communications between your tenants, what's been done to the house, maybe even to have it where you can upload the repair into that platform and it keeps track of your costs and all that type of stuff. I mean, that would be genius. If you could develop something, you could
Could do
be
so
a
much.
that's smart. No, I really think that's probably the future of the industry because, like you said, I mean, when you build such a big portfolio, it's like you have to have so many people and systems in place, and things get lost in translation, um, or it's just hard to keep track of everything. So if you could figure something out that would kind of like automate those functions, man, that would be a huge idea. So you keep working on that for sure. I'd love to see what you come up.
Would you Are you interested in maybe getting involved? Like, I mean, I'm just this is like I
Yeah,
just like started the LLC, like the company itself, but like I haven't done anything with it. But like, just it sounds like
yeah. I mean,
you know a lot more than I do.
I wouldn't say I'm, like, intelligent on the, like, technology point of view, but I would say I have,
No, right?
maybe good ideas for it. So, yeah, I would love to,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
yeah, that would be great.
awesome,
That's actually you just telling me now is sparking my ideas right now in my head,
love
like,
it.
"Okay, yeah, let's make this a little more simplified. Why does property management have to be so difficult?" You know what I mean? Let's
Right?
if you structure things to where the owners of these properties, so say it's not you directly owning it and you're working with somebody else, it can be hard to deal with people and communicate back and
Mhm.
forth. If you could kind of streamline that process and make it user friendly for all the parties involved and everything's kept tracked
Yeah.
and itemized, I mean, geez, how much time and money would that save people? And that would probably be a really good product. So
Oh, it would be for marketing purposes, like, just having an app like that, that in itself would be awesome. Plus the transparency of having an app, just everything's right there for both sides to see, and it's keeping track of every like you said, itemized everything. Anything that is from the minute that they, like, applied for, Apple, for the to stay at the place and
yeah.
then, or to rent the place all the way through. You could uh, I mean, I didn't even think of that just until you said all that, so that's awesome.
Currently what I'm using, what platform I use right now is, the Zillow rental manager, which has been really,
Heard it's awesome.
yeah, it's a really good platform because there's no gray area, it's very black and white, Zillow takes the information from the possible candidate and they have them pay them a fee to have their credit report, have their background, check, and all that stuff. So when they compile all their documentation, they submit it straight to the listing that they're interested in, and then you as the, property manager or owner, whoever, can pull that right up.
Mhm.
You have all that, like on Facebook, you have Messenger and you have all that. You can go back into your Messenger and look at your conversation. It's the same thing on that platform. You could see all the conversation, when it was, what date it was, all the information that they've supplied to you, and it on what house it's been on and everything. So it kind of breaks it all down for you, and it makes it really easy. And just like I don't know, have you used Showing Time before on
I
MLS,
have
the app Showing Time? So I really like
yeah,
some
yeah,
agents, say don't use Showing Time. I don't know what their problem is with it, but
I like
I
it.
found it to be
It's straightforward.
very. Oh, man, I used it on this, recent listing that I'm in contract with, and, man, it's been great because they don't have to always call me. They can, just schedule a showing. For instance, I was at a festival. I was at Aftershock, right? So
Yeah,
I wasn't available to be on my phone talking. It's very loud, and but I still need to be able to, take care of my clients or prospective buyers. And so it was nice because it gives you a text message, you can get an email, you can get a phone call. And so I was getting texts saying, "Hey, showing requested at this time," and I could just say, "Click yes, confirm, boom," and I'm done. So it's very user friendly, and I think everything now is moving to like user friendly, being on app based. I mean, there's an app for everything now, right? So yeah, I think there's
it's
some
just like I
market
mean,
share there's some market share out there for more app-based,
uh,
real estate.
thing and I would actually want to do something. So I'm already wanting to find a CTO that can actually develop all that stuff and, be, partner in the company to actually, have like 50% equity or something like that.
Right.
Anyway, but for them to develop all that stuff and make it proprietary, so it's not like an app that we're trying to sell, but it just be all in-house, but it would
Sure.
just be, what I mean, something that would be awesome. It would just develop even better over time, And then not just that part of it, but, like, the whole business part of it is, like, finding because technology, especially AI, is just advancing so fast that, like, I feel like there's gonna be so many different opportunities to use, the new technology. Who knows what's even gonna be available by the time that, I'm looking for it, so I'm excited to see what
Yeah, I
what
had a couple buddies, I just recently went on a little boys trip with some friends of mine to San Diego, and they were telling me about, an AI app called I forget the name, Chat something. Have you heard of that? It's like Chat.
GPT.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're just now finding out about
I
it?
have,
Bro,
I'm
you
so
yeah,
yeah, I'm way back in, yeah, I'm in archaic.
I love
But
it, I love it.
yeah, so they're telling me about this. I had no clue. I'm not really into the whole AI thing yet. I'm still like figuring that out.
Oh,
But
okay,
I
okay.
have a friend that he was telling me he uses that to help him with like work strategy and work reports and kind of putting
Mhm.
some of the information that he's trying to come up with, into that, and it helping him. He's not using everything it tells him verbatim, but he's taking what it's telling him and kinda making it his
Yes,
own, and he's really taking advantage of
yeah.
the whole AI thing, and, I think that's great. I'm still kinda figuring that out, so I guess I need to get more need to download that after I get off this, interview.
Bro, seriously, it's they have a free version, and you gotta start somewhere. Like, it's just, like,
Yeah.
in my opinion, the dawn of the internet is, like, what we're experiencing now with AI. Like, there's the people that are, like, so against it, like, "I don't know what it is, they don't want change," they're like that, or people that are
Yeah,
just like, "I just haven't didn't even know about it, I haven't even seen it yet," but, like, I guarantee you will love it. You can use it for, like, property descriptions. You can,
sure.
I mean, there's so many different applications. There's so many different things you can use. You're not even you're not, like, copying anything. You make it your own, and you can even, like, if you have the paid version, you can put in,
Mhm.
like, your own, like, special instructions. It's basically telling them, like, who you are and how you want it to respond. So it comes out
Right.
sounding like knows exactly what you're basically wanting it to say, and
Yeah, he
so
kinda
it's
did a
it's
couple little,
nice.
yeah, he did a couple little test things showing me, and he's, like, putting in some keywords or whatever, and it was
Yeah, yeah.
insane to see what it came up with. I'm like, "Man, this is some slick stuff here." But
And that and then in, like, a split second, So
I
crazy.
know,
Yeah.
it gives you a response right away.
You gotta try it. At least check it out, and then tell me what you think.
No, I definitely
Or, like,
I'm gonna
download it,
get it.
play with it yourself.
Yeah, no,
Alright, cool.
yeah, I kinda actually, you're right. I've kinda pride myself on my, property description, but I'm gonna have to use it the next time and see what it comes up with
I
because
mean, it's
I'm
worth a
interested.
shot, like, and then you can kinda compare.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Man, this is way better than
Cool.
what I'm done."
I be surprised.
Yeah, that's cool.
I
Yeah,
was using
technology is
it,
nuts.
like, cover letter, emails, like, even, like, blog post ideas or titles for stuff, it's
Mhm.
so fast, and you can ask for, like, 50 ideas, and then it'll just boom, and then you're like, "Alright, that was good."
Wow.
And I'll just kinda tweak it to sound better,
Yeah,
like, cool.
there's no excuses nowadays for not being able to do certain things, right? There's so many ways to get things done. It's like that's awesome.
Amazing. Hey, Mike, we're getting towards the end. Is there anything that you wanted to add? Anything you wanted to plug, before or maybe you forgot, before we end?
Um, uh, Not really. I mean, I think, maybe just, talking about how, like, you can balance work and your family and your hobbies and, basically just, you have to really manage your time and, like, think about what you're gonna do and get stuff done right away in the morning and, get a good head start on things and, um, keep your business, number 1, like, take care of everything right in the morning at the start of your day and get things going, and that will kinda keep you ahead of schedule, so, just plug myself, man. List your home
Yeah,
with me.
I'm gonna
Hit
get you.
me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so do you write things down? You got a calendar system? Do you have time block? Do you have like a special anything, or is it just
Yes.
you just stay in front of?
Yeah, I definitely write some stuff down. A lot of it just goes into the calendar on my phone and kinda remind myself about it, because, I got a lot going on, so you get forgetful sometimes, but yeah, just keeping my calendar always up to date, and I do write a lot of things down too, just to remind myself, keep it in front of me. But, yeah, there's a lot going on, but there's so many ways to, like, keep track of things, so, you know, it's pretty easy.
A lot of note apps and a lot of stuff that
Yeah, there's always a way to, like, keep track of stuff, so my wife is actually I gotta give her some credit, she's really good at that, she's very organized, so she's kinda rubbed off on me and taught me some
I
tricks.
would have guessed that just from talking to her, that she's a pretty
Oh, man,
organized
she
person.
is, she juggles way more than me, so, I mean, gosh, she is amazing.
For woman.
Yeah.
How's the family? Everybody good?
Yeah, yeah, we're good, we're going on a camping trip this weekend, are you coming? You gonna be out there with
Oh,
Ruth
is
and
it
them?
the first choice? Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's,
wish. I didn't even know.
uh yeah, it's some, like, Halloween thing in Coloma. I don't know if it's on, I think it's all with, like, camper like, trailers and stuff. So I
uh,
don't know if they're doing, like I don't know if they have regular campsites, I'm not sure.
That's
So,
probably why. Yeah, I didn't hear about it because
yeah, I
she's
think
usually, always trying to get us to go.
right, yeah, no, and that's I think that's the last time I saw you is at that one camping trip in Amador.
Honestly, yeah, and you were telling me the crazy story about the drama that you had with that place that you were, uh, in Lincoln that you were about to buy or you're about to close on, and then you got screwed over, and
Oh, yeah, and
but,
then now the house I'm in right now is the one I ended up getting, and yeah, that was a whole ordeal, but
it's is it better?
I think so, I mean, um, yeah, it worked out a lot better because I spent a lot less money and I got to make this house the way I wanted to, and it's got pretty much everything I looked for, so it worked out, and that's kinda how things go. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and that's kinda been my experience over the
Absolutely.
years. So, timing,
Honestly, I feel
so
yes, yes, 100%. It's just like things happen for a reason, and if the timing's not right, then you shouldn't buy the house, like, even though it might be a good price, like, if it's not right time for
oh,
you, then you and your family, then you should do it, my opinion.
yeah, time it's always been timing for me in the last, 12, 13 years. It's always came down to, like, timing, and if you're a good judge of that, you can make the most like, follow the market, follow the trends, follow the interest rates. That will kind of steer you in the right direction. If you pay attention, you can kinda make a educated decision on that, so
And they make it easy these days with Zillow and all that stuff, the apps, it's just at your fingertips, so everybody is informed and able to have the same information, so
yeah, keep
no
track of what's
excuses.
going on. Yep. Well,
Mike,
good
thank you
talking to you,
so
buddy.
much for coming on here. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, right on.
And yeah, it's been awesome talking to you. Yeah, I thought I thought it'd be great coming having you on because you're just so easy to talk to. And I love chatting with you, so it's perfect.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.